Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For motorists plying the national route number 5 in the Republic of Cameroon from Bekoko in the Littoral region to Bafoussam in the West region, craters, breakdowns in overturned trucks are now daily realities. A road some users now call the road of death. Innocent will be taking us details in this edition of the news. And from Tinto in the Upper Bayang subdivision of the Manu in the southwest region of Cameroon to Fonche Tula, that's in the west region of Cameroon, the rainy season has made things worse, and vehicles now trapped in the mud, transport fares tripled, farm produce rotting in villages and in markets. The people say that they have simply endured enough and are begging on urgent actions from the government of Cameroon. We're taking you into the heart of Tinto in the southwest region in this edition of the news. Away from the deplorable state of the road network across Cameroon, we shall also be talking health in the Republic of Cameroon, as Cameroon is looking to outward the unsolved inward problems, how to produce its own medicines at a high-level ministerial dialogue meeting in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia on the sideline of the 76th World Health Organization's regional coordination meeting for the African continent. Cameroonian officials are just thinking of how to solve inward problems with solutions coming from even within out of the Cameroonian frontiers. But who is representing Cameroon in this important strategic meeting is part of the news stories for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm from Sanda, live from Douala. Douala is Cameroon's largest city. It is the economic capital city of Cameroon, and of course, Equinoxe Central News Desk, live from Mobibona, Kanwa. It is in Akwa, the heart of the city of Douala. It is our primetime newscast, the 6 p.m. edition. Thanks for making the right choice to be informed by the best of television network across Cameroon and the Semak sub-region. Now, we're starting right away in education. It is important to note that schools will officially begin in Cameroon on the 7th of September 2026, and on the future story where the rising food prices in Cameroon's major economic capital cities like Douala and Bafoussam, as well as the political capital city Yaoundé, families are slashing the budget in order to get themselves fully ready for back to school. They say that the worsening purchasing power of Cameroonian households, but also the reality of getting their kids prepared for school is a major issue to deal with. But just how are parents managing to get themselves food on the table for their families, but also get their kids fully prepared in order to go to school in September is the content of the following story compiled by Malak Glory.
When you're leaving the house, coming to the market, you feel at times when you come, things will be a bit cheaper. But you come, things are more expensive than the other previous time you came to the market.
This is the daily reality for most women in the markets of Douala and across major cities in Cameroon. The prices of basic commodities continue to soar every day. This situation worsens during the holidays when there are extra mouths to feed. To understand these daily struggles, we accompanied Menkwe Nicoline on her trip to the market. She is a single mother of 3 and supporting 6 other family members.
Like last 2 weeks I came to the market, I asked for country onions. It was around 3.5 for a cup. But now like this, a cup is 5,000. They are selling 4 for 300. Before you buy a meat with bone, you buy for 3,000, and without bone you buy for 3.5. But now like this, meat with bone you buy for 3.5, and without bone you buy for 4,000. And time you come to the market, you say I will be in the market just for an hour. You find yourself being in the market for 5 hours because you are walking around to see how you will buy their foodstuffs. You will see where they are selling a bit cheaper. You will see you spend the whole day in the market.
It is a grim situation that has left families distressed and without the flexible options they enjoyed when prices were moderate.
At times when meat was like this, we'll go and buy fish, but now fish is more expensive than meat. You cannot even buy mackerel for 2,000. They will give you maybe 3 small mackerel, and before that one was the one for 500. the nice for 2,000.
More often than not, women leave the market disappointed because their budgets cannot cover their shopping list.
When I'm buying, you see now, I look at the things I've bought and I calculate my money. I will see that what I really wanted to buy that day now, I have not even bought half of it.
In response, traders are now forced to bring a more empathetic option, a human approach to business just to accommodate their struggling customers.
So we get for the pity they will give them even for 1,000, 1,500.
All things for mileage, you know, say as we they buy and so we they sell. You cannot buy a bag of rice for 18,000. You say 16,000.
Due to the skyrocketing cost of living, Mankwe Nicolene chose not to host any holiday makers at her home this season. She believes it is far more affordable to send financial support from a distance rather than hosting relatives who wish to visit.
Because the child will be living maybe from Baminda or from Banso, only just the transportation from Banso coming here. When you think of just one way, you spend 20,000 for just a child from Banso to here. Now thinking of going back again, and you still have to support them for their school fees or maybe buying their books or some school materials. You see that than for you to bring them here, it's better at the end you send them money.
We also spoke with Ernestine, a mother of 4 who shares the same predicament. Unlike Nicolene, Ernestine currently has 3 holiday guests at her home. She notes that whenever she shops for food, her budget consistently falls short.
Now 8,000, but I don't come out with 300. One fowl for 2,500, but about for 3,000.
She explains that she can no longer afford to cook meals that last 2 days due to the increased number of children currently in her household.
When I come back from market, I cook for 2 days, but they chop the finish way the 2 days never reach. It shows me I cook again, but I need to get me that money for cook again.
For the middle class in Cameroon, life is getting harder every day. Recent increase in meat and fish prices have hit families the hardest, leaving them with few alternatives. Consumers are now calling on the government to intervene and address the continuous inflation of basic goods, especially with the resumption of the school year just 2 weeks away.
Thank you, Malak Glory, for that major report on the daily struggles of households across the Republic of Cameroon. And as we told you in our top stories, Cameroon is looking outward to solve an inward problem, how to produce its own medicines at a high-level ministerial dialogue in Addis Ababa, that's in Ethiopia of Eastern Africa, within the sideline of the 76th World Health Organization's Committee for Africa. The country says it is boosting local pharmaceutical production as a key way to curtailing import dependence. Immaculate Fogwe has more in the following report.
The push for greater pharmaceutical sovereignty is gaining momentum across Africa. For Cameroon, the ambition is clear: develop a competitive pharmaceutical industry capable of meeting a greater share of the country's medicine needs by 2030. At a high-level ministerial dialogue in Addis Ababa, Cameroon's Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manawda Malachi, presents the country's progress, challenges and plans for expanding local production.
Since 2020, Cameroon has increased the number of local pharmaceutical production units from 7 to 19. The country now has more than 200 authorized pharmaceutical products. But despite this progress, local production still meets less than 5% of the country's overall pharmaceutical needs and account for only a fraction of the national essential medicines list.
The minister says increasing the number of production facilities has not yet translated into a proportional increase in production capacity. He adds that high technology products, including vaccines and some cancer medicines, are still largely imported.
Several challenges continue to weigh on the sector: limited access to financing, difficulties in securing raw materials, energy-related constraints, competition from imported products and delays in public payments are among the major obstacles encountered.
To the
minister, the government has introduced incentives aimed at making local production more competitive. These include exemptions on certain duties and taxes, measures to encourage the use of locally manufactured medicine, and stronger support through public procurement.
The government is also working on a national strategy for development of pharmaceutical industry. The strategy is expected to strengthen public-private partnerships, improve the sector's financing, and create a more favorable environment for pharmaceutical manufacturers. On the regulatory front, Cameroon is seeking to strengthen its national medicine regulatory system while exploring the establishment of a dedicated Cameroon Medicine Agency.
Beyond Cameroon, the discussions in Addis Ababa also focus on the need for greater cooperation among African countries for the continent, stronger local manufacturing, and harmonized pharmaceutical regulation are seen as important steps towards reducing dependence on imports and building greater health security.
And we also told you that for motorists plying the national route number 5 linking Bekoko, the Littoral region, to Bafoussam in the West region, the journey is increasingly becoming a nightmare. Craters, mechanical breakdowns, and overturned trucks are now common sight along the national route number 5. Some users have even baptized the road as the track of death. Equinoxe takes us to the challenges of road users on the national route number 5 between the Littoral and the West region in the following report.
A mechanical breakdown. This is what motorists risk once they venture onto the national road number 5. Every day, scores of road users enjoy the trauma of traveling on these badly degraded national roads.
The state of road is really bad. On ne dit pas comment on a voyagé, on dit seulement Dieu merci, ça n'encourage pas au Cameroun.
Elsewhere, roads such as the national highway linking Abidjan to Yamoussoukro in Côte d'Ivoire and the national road number 2 in Congo-Brazzaville are in comparatively good condition.
Enjoy driving on this road. It is so smooth and scenic with no congestion.
In Cameroon, the situation is pathetic. On the national road number 5, which links Bekoko in the Littoral region to Bafoussam in the west, craters are rampant, forming artificial lakes across the roadway. Trucks, intercity buses, private cars, tricycles and motorcycles are all forced to navigate this dangerous stretch. The road has now been baptized the road of death by people who have watched it deteriorate over the years.
Cette route amorphe, elle est déjà dégradée, donc vraiment ça ne correspond plus à nos aspirations.
When you get into the pothole, when coming out, you saw the vehicle is going up and down. So those are some of the causes that we always have vehicles on the wrong side because of bad roads.
Accidents are reported regularly from collisions as drivers struggle to share the limited passable sections to trucks overturning, like this vehicle transporting pozzolan. A short distance from the overturned truck is the 70-seater bus immobilized by a mechanical problem reportedly caused by the deplorable state of the road. Its passengers as well as the driver are left anxious and stranded. About 5 kilometers away, another truck has suffered an accident. The wheel drum of one of its rear tires has shattered. A family traveling to Mbanga is also stranded after their vehicle developed a mechanical fault. They are forced to call a mechanic to get the vehicle back on the road.
Tu peux raconter comment tu as voyagé. Les gens seront tellement choqués que...
It is a common sight to find young and elderly men trying to fill some of the craters themselves in a desperate attempt to make the road passable.
Moi, je suis sur la route. Les gars, parce que vu que Ndjongo nous a aidé à placer déjà un camion, ils font pourquoi pas. On a un coup de main pour pouvoir aider.
Just a few meters from the Mbanga toll gate, another truck lies overturned, reportedly as a result of the deplorable condition of the road. For road users, the question now is how long they must continue paying toll fees on a road that remains in such a dangerous state.
And it is not just about the national road number 5. Other road networks too across Cameroon are deplorable. In this case, from Tinto in the Upper Bayang subdivision, that's of the southwest region, to Fonchachula, that is Fonchachula. It's a locality in the west region. The rainy season has turned roads into death traps. Vehicles stuck in the mud, fresh tree poles and farm produce rotting in farms and villages. The local people say that they've simply endured enough and are calling on the government of Cameroon to tar their roads. The people were speaking to our reporter Simat Njigan Gabriel.
A four-wheel drive stuck deep in the mud. This is the road leading to Tinto village in the Upper Bayang subdivision of Manyu Division Southwest region. In the heart of the rainy season, plying this road has become a veritable nightmare for users. Most of the time, maintenance is left in the hands of the community alone. This community has been struggling alone to maintain this road. Government attempted to fix a stretch leading to Fontem, but it failed. The people of Tinto know what the real solution is.
Except they ask some of the people here in Tinto, they will tell them how the solution will be for solve matter for this road.
Tinto is largely a farming community, but with the road in this deplorable state, farmers are unable to transport their produce to the market. They say it is high time government tarred the road to end their suffering. What we need here is a tarred road, not the routine of pouring mud on mud every day. This area produces cocoa beans that feed the nation's economy. Government has tried its best, but only tarring this road will provide a lasting solution. In Menua Division, the story is the same for those heading to Fonchachula village. The poor state of the road remains a huge headache for road users who are often forced to push their vehicles at every turn. A journey from Chang to Fonchachula, which used to cost just 500 francs CFA, now costs 3,000 francs CFA due to the state of the road. The population is now calling on government for help.
And on to something else, strike threat negotiations in Yaoundé. Then a student suspension is the industrial action becoming a bargaining tool for personal gains. In Cameroon, allegations that some trade union leaders exploit workers' grievances to extract financial benefits from government authorities are raising questions about the credibility of strike actions. But transport syndicate leader Zachary Yamfam says the problem should not be generalized. He admits that some fake unionists or union leaders may pursue personal interests, but insists that genuine trade unions and strikes to put pressure on government and suspend them when the concrete solutions are not yet found is very necessary for effective functioning in Cameroon. Babila Jonathan has more in the following report.
A fresh controversy is emerging over the use of strike actions by workers' trade unions in Cameroon. An article examining the latest transporters' strike alleges that some union leaders have turned industrial action into means of personal enrichment. The allegation is that strike notices are issued, government authorities subsequently invite union representatives to negotiations in Yaoundé, and that after these meetings, where financial inducements are urged to change hands, the strikes are suspended. The pattern, critics say, raises questions about whether some union leaders are genuinely defending workers' interests or exploiting their grievances for personal gains.
Je vous dis non.
Road Transport Syndicate leader Zachary Yanfam rejects a blanket condemnation of the unions.
Dans chaque corps de métier, il y a les aventuriers, il y a les clandestins.
He acknowledges that there are what he describes as fake trade unionists who exploit workers' difficulties for personal benefit. However, Yanfam says genuine trade unions have a different role.
Le préavis de grève est un cri d'alerte. Qu'on informe l'État, on interpelle l'État sur certains points.
To mount pressure on government authorities to find solutions to workers' problems.
Si les problèmes posés sont solutionnés, pourquoi aller en grève? Si les problèmes posés ne sont pas solutionnés, nous allons en grève.
Once those demands are addressed, he explains suspending the strike is the normal outcome of successful negotiations. For the case of recent announced strike actions of road transporters, he says,
il y a les raquettes dans la zone du Nous. Tous ces points-là ont été solutionnés.
The government provided solutions, including measures to end police harassment on the highways across the crisis-hit northwest and southwest regions, and a reduction from 52 security checkpoints to 4 recognized checkpoints along the Douala-Bangui, Douala-N'Djamena transporter highways. He adds that the controversy therefore highlights the need to distinguish legitimate trade union pressure from allegations of profiteering, while protecting workers' rights and the wider economy from unnecessary disruptions.
And that's all for now. Coming up is Talking Point. And tonight we're going to be struggling to have a civil society actor and, of course, political observer, analyst in Cameroon, Chief Dr. Joseph Mofo, and of course we are struggling to have him on the news. He's accepted to be guest once again with us to discuss some issues in Cameroon, notably the return of President Paul Biya, the controversy that surrounded his absence and long stay out of Cameroon. Good evening, Chief Dr. Joseph Mofo. Thanks for accepting once again to talk to us on Equinoxe Television.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fumi. Thank you for inviting me in Equinoxe Television as a guest today, the 24th of August 2026. Thank you very much. This is really grandiose. It has been long I've not been in your program again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're glad you've accepted to be with us once again. Now, we're going to be talking with you this. We wanted to get this from you on an earlier attempt. President Paul Biya is finally back to Cameroon. Do Cameroonians like yourself now understand what kept the president out of the frontiers of Cameroon for 74 days?
Thank you, Mr. Fumi. Thank you for the question. The head of state, our president, His Excellency Paul Biya, we don't actually understand what is going on. Rather, it's problems of health issue or political problems, or he traveled to Switzerland to go and sit down and work since the elections go through, and there were some misunderstanding and arguments about the elections. Maybe he has come back now to really put things in order, so that Cameroonians should be living at least in a very peaceful mind without any fear. Even business, people are suffering, Mr. Fumi. All business have dropped down since elections go through. Though challenges are enormous, but let the head of state really explain to his population, make at least sing his back, a report to let the population understand what has really been long since more than 2 months. We have not been hearing from him as Cameroonians, because things are really critical. Cameroon is diving in a very kangaroo way. So we are really begging the head of state, first of all, to see to the problem of elections, let the government be formed, and equally to see the problems of the northwest and southwest, because these two regions are really in trouble. There's no peace of mind. You can't travel safely and at least rest as you were resting in the village. All phones, chips, they are out of the village because they are running away with their dear life, Mr. Fumi. Things are not good in Cameroon. Let the Senate equally see what to do with the head of state, the Assembly, the Prime Minister. Let them all together join hands together with other key government officials to really see what to do to bring peace in the country.
Thank you very much for your call. Thank you for your analysis, and thank you for your time, for accepting to be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, also a huge thanks to you. We urge you to continue to stay in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe. We're going to be having our next edition of news in the French language at 8 p.m. I will be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. God willing. Goodbye.